go. Afternoon, everyone. It's Jim here at Tutor to You. Just checking, Graham, that I'm not muted like I was for the AQA session an hour ago. And welcome. Here we go again. Another fantastic opportunity to work together with some live revision. In this case, it's for Edexcel A-Level Business students. Perhaps you've just started out. More likely, you're maybe into year 13 and thinking about the exams or starting to prepare for the exams next summer. So you'll hopefully get to know Graham on the right-hand side. Good afternoon, Graham.
Good afternoon, Jim. How are you today?
Good. Can you believe it's 3 months since we did our last live streams for the summer 2022 exams?
Can't believe it. It only seems like 12 weeks, doesn't it?
On form. So, Graham, what's on the menu today? We thought with these sessions before Christmas, we'd take a sort of a thematic approach, didn't we? Picking out parts of each of the key themes or the 4 themes in Edexcel. So, what are we covering today?
Yeah, so we're going to do theme 1 marketing, and we've got a range of activities, got some MCQs, some on balance activities where we're going to look at, a little bit of analysis and evaluation. We've also got some calculations and, a bit of fun thrown in. Like always, please use the chat window. So, for example, when we do the MCQs, you'll be given a question, 4 possible answers, A, B, C, and D. Please type your answers in the chat window. Any questions in the chat window, we will do our best to answer them, won't we, Jim?
We will. I think you're going to lead us through it, Graham, so I'll see you at the end. I'm always here. I'll be looking at in the live chat, maybe typing a few answers in. But I'll see you in about 30 minutes or so, Graham, do you think? About 30 minutes?
Let's go for 30 minutes.
Perfect. Okay, have fun.
Okay, let's start with an activity just called the Big Reveal, just to get us warmed up. So can we have the next slide, please, Jim? So I'm going to show you 5 clues. They all lead to the name of a business. After each clue, if you think you know the name of the business, please type it into the chat window. So can we have clue number 1, please, Jim? So this business was founded in 1961. So if you're thinking, I know a business that was founded in 1961, then type it in the chat window. I think it's probably a little bit ambitious to think we'll get the business from this, but you never know. Should we have a look? Clue number 2, please, Jim. So this business has 6,250 stores across 11 countries. So a little bit of it's not Lloyd's Bank. That's a great guess, though, Mike. So it's a great guess, but it's not Lloyd's Bank. So 6,250 stores across 11 countries. Should we have the next clue, please? The name is short for Albrecht Discount. So that is a big, big clue. Have we any ideas? So the name is shortened from what you can see on screen. And this business was founded by the Albrecht family in 1961. It's been in the news a lot recently. So it's a very topical big reveal, this. Let's have clue number 4. It's a grocery retailer. So can we piece the 2 clues together? And Tranquility there has gone for Aldi. Let's see clue number 5. It is recently became the 4th largest UK supermarket, pushing Morrison's out into number 5, and it is indeed Aldi. A really, really good business to follow as you start your A-level business journey. Right, let's move on to some MCQs. So we're going to have a question, 4 possible answers. Type the corresponding letter into the chat window. It's not Lidl, it could have been Lidl, but it was Aldi. So according to the Boston Matrix, a product with a high market share in a low growth market is called a what? Is it a question mark? Is it a cash cow? Is it a dog? Is it a star? Which of those is it? So we're looking for a product with a high market share in a low growth market. Is it A? Is it B? Is it C? Is it D? What do we think? So a few seconds to have a go at that. So answers are flying in. I think everyone is correct so far, and it is indeed cash cow. Well done, everyone. Good understanding there of the Boston Matrix. Let's have a look at the next question, a topic which we're going to do a little bit on this today because it is one that students do find challenging. So price elasticity of demand. So we've got the product of a business has a price elasticity demand coefficient of -4. If the price of the product is increased by 5%, what will happen to the quantity demanded? So if we've got a product, we've estimated that the PED is -4. If we increase the price of that product by 5%, what's going to happen to the quantity demanded? Will it increase by 5%? Will it increase by 20%? Will it fall by 5%? Will it fall by 20%? And this is an area I often find that students do struggle with, which is interpreting what that coefficient actually means. What does that -4 mean? A lot of students will go, well, it means that the product is elastic, but what does that number particularly mean? And this is fantastic stuff that I think so far, everyone who's typed in the answer, and they've got a lot of us joining us, which is fantastic. All of us so far have gone with fall by 20%, but is that the right answer? It is indeed the right answer. Before we go on to the next slide, obviously, I can only see who's typed in the chat window. Maybe there's some people there who aren't sure. Well, that -4 tells us for every 1% change in price, the quantity demanded will change by 4%. So if we're going to increase the price by 5%, the law of demand tells us that the quantity demanded will fall. We multiply the 5 by the 4 to give us a fall of 20%. That is really important. You fully understand price and income elasticity of demand for that matter, but we'll only look at PED today. Let's have a look at the next question, please, Jim. Something slightly easier. So which pricing strategy involves setting a high price when a product is first launched? Is it predatory, penetration pricing, competitive pricing, skimming? What do we think? And we're gonna look at pricing strategies in a little bit more depth later on. So you could see our question for Edexcel might be phrased: assess the value maybe of skimming to a business such as Apple, for example. An assess question requires balance and an evaluation. So I think we've all gone for skimming. Is it skimming? It is indeed skimming. That is my favorite pricing strategy. Mike, what was your favorite pricing strategy? If you type that into the chat window, I'd love to know what that one is. So let's look at another question. Which of the following methods of market segmentation never been examined at A-level? Not been examined yet, market segmentation, as far as I'm aware. So which of the following methods of market segmentation relates to segmenting customers by age? Is it income, demographic, behavioral, geographic? So which of the following methods of market segmentation relates to segmenting customers by? I think we're going to have to call 999 because everyone is on fire tonight. This is fantastic stuff. We've got lots more joining us, lots of correct answers, lots of people having a go. Beautiful stuff. Cassie there's typed in the whole answer. No stopping Cassie. And the answer is indeed demographic. Well done. And let's move on to our next question. So we've got product and market orientation. So this is a slightly different MCQ. Remember, MCQs aren't part of the Edexcel assessment, but they're just a good way for us to test knowledge and understanding. So you've got two statements there. Read each one and decide whether the statements are true or false. So if you think statement 1 is true and statement 2 is false, select B, and so on and so forth. So product orientation involves designing products based around what the business is good at. Market orientation involves designing products based around customer needs and wants. This is a tricky topic, and I know Jim has just recorded a video on product and market orientation, which you can see on our YouTube channel, which is really its essential viewing. Forget the bake-off, watch that video. So what do we think? So it's the first question where there's a little bit of doubt. There's a little bit of doubt here. Shall we reveal the answer? Well, both those statements are true. Product orientation does involve designing products based around what the business is good at. It's basically where a business designs a product with little concern for what customers want. It just designs the product based on its capabilities and what it's good at, its competencies, and just puts it out there. Market orientation involves designing products based around what customers actually need and want. Both have their pros, both have their cons, and it is a key part of the Edexcel A-Level Business specification. And see from the chat, lots of students getting those key terms mixed up. Make sure you are on point with your knowledge and understanding. So let's look at a topic which I've said before hasn't been examined at A-Level anyway, on the full A-Level, and it's market segmentation. Now, think of a possible question such as assess the value of market segmentation to a business such as, I don't know, Pret, for example. So that's how a question on market segmentation may present itself in an exam. Remember, all access questions require balance. So we're going to do that. So firstly, can you give me a benefit of market segmentation to a business? So maybe type that in the chat window. What do we think? So maybe a benefit of market segmentation, of maybe targeting a specific segment. What do we think? Give you a few seconds to type that into the chat window. Why would a business want to maybe focus on a particular market segment, for example? So we've got some there. Outline your target audience. That's good. You maybe get a better understanding of your brand loyalty is a fantastic one. That's a fantastic one. So as outline your target audience, brand loyalty. Really, because you're meeting the specific needs and wants of certain segments. Therefore, you could get increased brand loyalty. Feel valued. Maintaining customer loyalty. So we've got a little bit of application there. So we gain a niche. Market segmentation and niche marketing, which is also part of the theme 1, are intrinsically linked. So them two very much linked concepts there, which is a good way of getting good analysis in your exam questions. So I think we've got a really good understanding there. Let's have a look at what we said. So 2 possible benefits, there are many. So it could allow a business to charge a higher price. That is because often businesses that focus on a particular segment meet the needs and wants of that particular segment. Alice just in there with competitive advantage. That's a great point. And we've got can allow more targeted promotional activity. And that reduces the opportunity cost of promotion. For example, if you're targeting, for example, the plant-based segment, maybe you've got a new product there, you could maybe advertise that in certain health magazines, for example. So you can allow much more targeted promotional activity, which therefore reduces the opportunity cost of promotion. So we've managed to link that to another key business term. Now, remember, any assess question we need, balance. Can someone just give me a drawback of maybe focusing on a particular segment? What do we think? What do we think? That Queen Zully there, that's fantastic. You know, expenses to research to find out the particular needs and wants of a specific segment that adds to the costs of a business, which could impact on competitiveness. Slim Try, a fantastic point there. May miss sales in other markets. If you put all your eggs in one basket, for example, let's just take the plant-based, which I mentioned earlier. If you just focus purely on that, therefore, you know, so Cassie's even added to what Mike said there, losing the opportunity to reach another order. That is fantastic. That is a really, really good point. High production costs, that's a good point as well. So I think we've got some really good balance there. Let's have a look at what we said. So focusing on one or two segments may limit revenue, which is actually, I think Cassie's put it better there. You're losing the opportunity to reach another audience. And this is an interesting one. You can be more susceptible to changes in the market. For example, if you just focus on one segment and all your eggs are in one basket, and the demand, for example, in that market changes, you've not got any other segments or any other products maybe to fall back on. So you are more susceptible. So there's a bit more risk there. It's good there. Good point there about insufficient market research. You could argue that the success of a segment there, of being successful in a segment, very much depends on the amount of research that a business undertakes. So we've managed to build a little bit of evaluation. Again, Dylan, that is a boss answer. So you're not spreading the risk. And Dr. Cautious there, you know, two really good. It's the same point twice actually, but you know what? It was such a good point. It was worth putting there twice. Fantastic. Well done, everyone. Let's move on to our next activity. It's a 60-second challenge, but I'm feeling generous. I'm going to give you a minute. So if you've got a calculator, fantastic. A calculating implement, a smartphone, anything really, it's a price elasticity of demand question. Remember, in your specification, you may be asked to calculate price elasticity of demand and or income elasticity of demand. So not only do you need to be able to interpret the coefficient, you may need to be able to calculate the coefficient. And it is an area that students do find difficult. So we've got last year, after a business decreased the price of one of its products from £5 to £4, the quantity demanded increased by 25%. Can you calculate the price elasticity of demand for the product last year? So you need to work out the percentage change in price. That's the first step in the calculation. Then you need to know the price elasticity of demand formula. Then you can transpose your figures into that and you can come up with the coefficient. Jim, start the music, please. Now, what's interesting is I've not seen a fully correct answer. I've seen partially complete answers. There is something missing from the majority of answers that I'm seeing there. Now, remember, all calculation questions for Edexcel A-Level Business are 4 marks. And, you know, you have to get the answer fully correct to get all 4 marks. There is some 1.25 is nearly there, but it's not. It is not fully there. Let's have a look at the actual answer, please, Jim. It's minus 1.25. Now we do ignore the minus when interpreting the coefficient, but that's how it should be presented in your exam. So remember, the formula is percentage change in quantity demanded divided by percentage change in price. We can work out the percentage decrease in price, percentage increases and decreases students still find difficult. Difference divided by the original times 100. So it was a 20% decrease in price. So the PED is 25. That's our 25% increase in demand. We've got the minus 20 because it's a decrease in price. Gives us a coefficient of minus 1.25. PED will always be a minus figure, always. Queen's only there, you've got plus 1.25. Plus would only apply to income elasticity of demand. And we will be doing some stuff on income elasticity of demand in future live streams. Now, with any 4-mark calculation question, there are marks awarded for each step in your calculation, including the formula. If you didn't know how to work it out or didn't know where to get the percentage figures from, and you could just write the formula down, you're going to get a mark, and you're going to get a mark for every correct step in your calculation. That's why it is so important to always show you're working out. Always. That way, even if you get the final answer wrong, you can still get some marks. So it's minus 1.25. Well done, everyone who obviously got 1.25 because you've followed all the stages correctly. But it's minus 1.25. Let's take this a little bit further with a little application activity. So we're just going to do a little bit more on PED because it is identified as one of those areas that students do struggle with a little. So this is about the application of the coefficient. So a business estimates that the PED of one of its products is minus 2. That's elastic. The price of this product is £10 per unit, and the business sells 50,000 units per month. The business is considering increasing the price by 20% from £10 to £12. What would be the difference in the monthly revenue based on the price increase? That is quite challenging. So have a look at it and think, well, actually, how would I work that out? And if you can work it out, fantastic. Now, in order to work out the difference in monthly revenue, you firstly need to work out what the current monthly revenue is, and there would be a mark for that. So even if you didn't know how to work out the different coefficient, if you just worked out the current revenue, volume times selling price, you're going to get a mark. That's why never leave the question blank. Have a go at every single aspect of the question. So what do we think? So we know that if a business increases the price by 20%, that the quantity demanded is going to fall. We need to know by how much. Well, we know that the PED is minus 2. That minus 2, if we ignore the minus, we just focus on the 2, it tells us that for every 1% change in price, the quantity demanded will alter by 2%. Well, we're increasing the price by 20%. So we should know from those two figures that if we increase the price by 20%, the quantity demanded will fall by 40%. That is the 20% multiplied by the 2. 50,000 units per month, a 40% fall in the quantity demanded, so we can work out the new demand, and we've got the new price from the increase. We can work out, therefore, the revenue and the difference. So I think this is quite a challenging question. Let's have a look at the answer. Maybe it was a bit ambitious in the time we've got, but it's certainly one to revisit. So we've got the current monthly revenue, which is 50,000 by £10. That's £500,000. That's our revenue. Remember that the quantity demanded will fall by 40%, 20% multiplied by the 2. We can therefore work out the new demand. So a 40% decrease in the quantity demanded, we can just multiply by 0.6, which means the new demand will be 30,000 units. Multiply that by the new price, the £12, 360,000. And now we've got our difference in monthly sales revenue, £140,000. So as you can see, lots of steps in that calculation. That was quite a challenging question, but not beyond the realms of what you may get in an exam in a few years' time, depending if you're 12 or 13, of course. So it may be worth revisiting that so you are fully on top of PED. Okay, let's a little bit of light relief now, please, Jim. Can we have a look at our next activity? It's give me 3. So what I'd like you to do is you've got the time it takes the music to stop to maybe type in 3 factors that determine the pricing strategy for a business. Again, this is an area that has yet to be examined at A-level, where you may have to maybe assess the factors that influence the pricing strategy for a business. So should a business choose competitive pricing? Should it choose skimming? What are the factors that would lead it to that decision? There are 6 on the specification, which you need to be familiar with. We're only asking you for 3. If you can get 1 or 2, that'd be fantastic. Jim, start the music, please. No, I think that's proved slightly problematic, judging by the I was going to say, judging by the answers in the chat window, or lack of answers. So there are 6 specifically mentioned on the specification, and with regards to the Edexcel A-Level Business specification, if you get a question on this, there's an expectancy that you will lift your answers from the specification. So now we're starting to get some in. Brilliant. We've got market positioning's fantastic. Well done, Queens. That's a great answer. We've got price elasticity of demand, the level of competition. PED is fantastic. The type of market, competitors. So the ones on the specification are particularly number of USPs, or the amount of differentiation. The more differentiated a product is, perhaps the higher the price. Maybe you could go for skimming, depending on the product. We've got price elasticity of demand, which a lot of people got in the chat window as a key factor that determines the pricing strategy. And we've got the level of competition. So we wanted 3. There's 3 on screen. But what we've done is on the next slide, excuse me, on the next slide, please, Jim, we've got the others that are mentioned on the specification just for completeness. So we've got the strength of the brand. Stage in the product life cycle. That's interesting because you can link pricing strategies to different stages in the product life cycle. For example, depending on the product, when a product's first launched, it might use a price skimming strategy, and then as the product goes through the life cycle, the pricing strategy may alter to generate more sales. And we've also got costs and the need to make a profit. Remember, one of the pricing strategies on the specification is cost plus pricing. You may need to calculate the markup on unit cost. So obviously the costs and need to make a profit is another factor that will influence potentially the pricing strategy for a business. Well done, everyone. Holly there, just reading the last one I've seen there. Yeah, the type of product as well, whether it's inferior or luxury, will also be a factor that can help determine the pricing strategy. Right, we've only got 2 activities left, I'm afraid to say, so let's quickly whittle through these. So the next one is I've said alternative vowels. It's actually not. That's my mistake. It's actually an anagram. So I've made a little bit of a howler there. So can we go on the next slide, please, Jim? So it's not altered vowels. I changed it, but I didn't change the heading. I just wanted to see if anyone had noticed that. So this is an anagram of a key term. So an anagram is just a word jumbled up. So we've got make earth in there. So that is an anagram of a theme 1 marketing term. What do we think it is? We've already briefly touched on it in the in one of the questions. Someone mentioned it with regards to market segmentation. So it's linked to market segmentation. It has the word market in it as well. So it has the word market in it. So I think that's a good clue. 2 words. The second word is market. What do we think it is? I'll give you one more clue. I think it's well done, Alfie. You got me out there. I was going to say it's the opposite of mass market. It is indeed. It is indeed niche market. Well done, everyone. Fantastic. Let's have a look at the next one, Dave Langwood. So another theme one concept. The V in there's not many words on the specification, have the letter V in it. So what do we think? A key marketing term, Dave Langwood. It's to do with making a product potentially more valuable, altering it in a certain way, maybe to charge a higher price, is an example of this. What do we think? Well done, Princess. It is indeed adding value. Well done. Adding value. Fantastic. Well done, everyone. Last one of these, Ron Shipsops, that's easy for me to say, is the final one. It's related to the marketing mix, an element of the marketing mix. So what are the 4 elements of the marketing mix? Product, price, promotion, and place. It's related to one of those. Potentially. Sunderland Football Club are playing tonight, and an example of this would be written on their shirt of the greatest football team in Sunderland. It is indeed, Alfie, Queen Zully, it is indeed sponsorship. Well done. Sad news, everyone. It's the last activity. So we're going to look at market size, growth, and share. It's our last calculation. So you need to be able to calculate market size by volume and value, market growth, and also market share. This covers all of them. So we've got 2 sisters here, Margot and Rita, who own a pizza shop, a pizza restaurant in Sunderland called A Pizza The Action. They are considering opening a second restaurant in Northumberland. Now, Margot and Rita estimate that the new restaurant would sell 20,000 pizzas per year, which would give them a 5% share of the local market. The price per pizza is £10. What is the size of the pizza market by volume and value in Northumberland? So let's just quickly read through that second paragraph. They estimate that the new restaurant will sell 20,000 pizzas, which will give them a 5% share of the local market. What we need to do is we need to find out 100%, and then from that we can work out value. Jim, start the music, please. Fantastic to see some answer. That is a difficult question. And some great answers in there coming in. Lots of answers coming in now. Remember, just be really specific with your calculation. So if it's a monetary amount, you want your pound signs in there. Be very, very specific. So let's have a look at the working out. So the size of the market by volume was indeed 400,000 pizzas. So we knew 20,000 pizzas was a 5% share of that local market. So we need to find out what the total size of the market is. Divide by 5 times 100. So again, this just illustrates, the real importance of being on top of percentages. It's a really key quantitative skill. So that gives us 400,000 pizzas. Then the size of the market by value, so we know 400,000 pizzas times by £10 gives us £4 million. And Jim, I think that concludes, doesn't it? I think that's the we packed a lot in there. We packed a lot in. And Jim, you're muted. Jim's muted. That's
Not for
better.
the first time. I was just saying, Graham, that activity on pizzas there, that's hard to top as a calculation activity.
It is a difficult one, and it's Marguerite were trying to get a slice of the pizza market in Northumberland there, weren't they? It's a very competitive industry. It is. I mean, they've got to earn a crust, haven't they? To be fair, everyone did really well there. There was some tough calculations, especially
Yeah, I thought
that
so.
application one on PED. So it is worth, and you've done so well to even just have a go at those, because there was we covered a lot of topics in there, and there weren't some of them weren't easy. Well done.
Yeah, I don't think it gets much harder than that PED question, does it? Those calculations there. So well done for having a go at that.
Well
That's
done.
great. Well, bang on time, exactly 30 minutes. As we said, we'd have a mixture of calculations and knowledge and understanding activities. So if you've enjoyed the session, you found it useful, give us a thumbs up on YouTube to help other Edexcel students find, obviously not the live version, but find the replay. And also consider subscribing to the YouTube channel, because that way you'll get a notification of our next upcoming Edexcel live sessions, and also live sessions for other A-level subjects. So you might be doing economics, psychology, sociology, or whatever. Got lots of these sessions coming up this term and next term. Any more thoughts, Graham, in terms of what, for example, what are we doing next week? Presumably theme one, but must be what, finance, is it, or
Yeah,
people?
it's people. We're
People.
going to do people, so we're going to do some stuff on people. And just to reiterate what Jim said there, we've started doing some topic videos on Instagram. So please follow us on Instagram, Tutor to You Business. So we're doing business in the news, exam technique. So we are there to help. So next week we are doing people. So again, we'll have a few calculations in there, and just the normal fun and business frolics, Jim.
5:30
And on
next
that
Tuesday.
note,
Spread the word. Hopefully
we'll
we'll
be
catch
there,
you
won't
live
we?
next week. I'll be there. You'll be there.
I'll be
And
there. Yeah, I'll be there.
looking forward to it. And look, all the best, everyone. Have a good week. We'll see you this time next week. Cheers.
Cheers now.